Okay, YouTube. Well, it's been almost 2 hours. I had to go help a family friend. Unfortunately, she got into a situation and needed some assistance. That's what we should be for. Always help other people whenever you have an opportunity. It's been 2 hours. Now, I'm going to show you here, not a whole lot of change has been made. It's a little bit darker in here, so I don't know if the collars have changed up or not. But here's the funny thing. Look in the bowl. Now there's only about, there might be a half a cup of juice in the bottom of that bowl. And that's what's come out in the time that it's been sitting here draining. Okay, now we're going to put this back. And we're going to hit pause. And I'm going to take a tea towel. I have a tea towel here that I've cut down. These are flour sack towels that I get over at Walmart. They're huge. I cut these in quarters. Look how huge these things are. Look how huge those things are. Massive. They're about 24 inches square. And they're really good for this kind of thing. So I cut one down, and that's it right there. And what we'll do is we'll place a nice big handful in the center of this, and then I'll twist it, and we will wring it out. Now, I don't know how I'm going to do this and record, but we're going to see what we can do. So, I'm going to hit pause and see if I can't set something up here so that we can watch together. Alright, and we're back to recording. I made a little solo cup holder here. You're going to see my junky looking kitchen in the background. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the tea towel, and I'm going to take a handful, you see a nice big handful of, I'm going to take a little bit out, of the zucchini, and I'm just going to put it right here in the middle of the tea towel. Can you see it? Now, I'm going to close the corners of the tea towel. And then I'm going to take that little bit, I'm just going to drop it right here a few times to kind of pack it down in the towel a little bit farther. And then I'm going to squeeze it. Now I'm going to stop here a second. I'm not going to hit pause. I'm just going to stop and see where my thing is in the screen here. Let me turn this a little bit. Try to get it in the center. Alright, you see it there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to squeeze. Look at all that water coming out of there. I'm going to turn and squeeze. And what I'm doing is I'm draining the extra water that is broken loose out of the zucchini so that it comes out. Now, I don't want it totally, absolutely, positively dry. So then I'll take it over here, and I'll just take it and lay it out on the same piece of plastic baggie that I brought the zucchini home in, and I'll just lay it there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me see here. No, you can't. Let me back it up a little bit. Can you see it now? I just lay it there on that little baggie. Now, I'm not going to fight with it. You can see it a little bit. Now, I'm going to hit pause. I'm going to do the rest of it, and then I'll show you the amount of water that I squeeze out. Alright, that is how much zucchini that I have. There's 4 nice little balls here. Each of them are about a nice fistful. But look at all the water that came out of this. There's got to be, there's a huge amount. Hold on a minute. I'm going to hit pause again. We're going to go and get my measuring cup. Alright, let's see just how much water is actually in there. Now this is after 2 hours of draining, and then I squoze them in the tea towel that's over there in the sink now. There's a little bit more than a quarter of a cup. I'm sorry, there's a little bit more than a cup. We'll just call it a cup. That's a cup of water that was in those 3 zucchini. That's crazy. Alright, I've rinsed out, washed, thrown away the zucchini water, and I've rinsed out the bowl and kind of wiped it out. Now I'm going to get my hardware together. The hardware is the ingredients. Alright, the hardware is now out. keep putting my finger in front of it, don't I? Old Bay seasoning. Now, all of these are to taste. Don't go too hard on the sriracha sauce. It piles up fast and makes it kind of hot. Garlic powder. Unfortunately, I'm almost out of garlic powder. 2 eggs. They're jumbos, and I think they're double yolks, but I won't know until I crack them. Salt, pepper, and olive oil. You're going to use about a tablespoon or so of that. And onions. I always forget the onions. I'll get those out. I keep the onions pre-chopped in my freezer. Pre-chopped. So the only thing I got to do is kind of give them a whack, and I can just take out what I need, and they're ready to go, and I don't waste a bunch of onions, because onions go bad fast. So I'll get everything together, and we'll come back, and I'll show you what to do next. Alright, that's the amounts, roughly, that I use each time. Each time it's a little bit different, unfortunately. So, about a tablespoon, maybe a little bit more, of sriracha sauce. About a half a teaspoon of black pepper. About a teaspoon of salt. About a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more, of Old Bay. And about a half a teaspoon of garlic. Okay, to what I just told you about, I added about 2 teaspoons, maybe a tablespoon of olive oil. And notice I've got a double yolk and a single yolk, so out of those 2 eggs I had 1 double and a single. And about a half of an onion is what I used. Now, we're going to beat this up, and then we're going to add the zucchini to it. Okay, it's well beaten, and I added about a teaspoon of cumin that I forgot to add a moment ago. Alright, hit pause, or we'll put our zucchini back together and we'll start mixing. Alright, we just break it up. And it's kind of dry. I think I may have actually got it a little bit too dry. But you just mix everything together. And I'm going to do one little extra step this time. I'm going to actually let it set for a few minutes and let it have time to absorb. There's one more hard ingredient, one more piece of hardware that we have to put in it. Now, I'm going to hit pause. I'm going to get this mixed up, and then we'll bring out the last hard ingredient. Okay, mixture is well beaten. Notice that there's a little bit of fluid over here to one side. That's normal. There's some right there too. That's normal. It's not. The zucchini can't reabsorb what's in there. So I'm going to do something a little bit different this time. I'm going to let it give time to see if it can absorb a little bit of this stuff. I'm going to do about 5 minutes, and then we're going to add the second ingredient. Or the last ingredient, not the second one. What is the last ingredient? Some self-rising flour. We're going to add it so that it makes a dough. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes. Everything looks pretty nice. The salt may actually be pulling a little bit remaining water out of the things, but so I don't want to let it go too long. I don't think it is. I think I almost squeezed it out too much. All right, I buy my flour in small portions, and the reason is because I'm a single person. That's 2 pounds in a smaller bag. If you have a large family, buy a large bag. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take my tablespoon. I'm going to get me a nice big tablespoon. And I'm going to spread it over the top. And I know I'm going to need more than that, so I'm just going to go ahead and get 2 of them. I'm going to spread it over the top. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to stir this in. I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to make a dough. And why am I going to do that? Well, like I showed you a second ago, there's a whole lot of extra fluid in there. And we want to absorb as much of that as we can. And we want to make a loose dough. A lot like a pancake dough. That would be a good explanation, or a good comparison. A nice pancake dough. I need to hurry up here, so I'm going to hit pause. I'm going to try to keep this under about 10 minutes. So I'm going to hit pause. I'm going to get this stirred in here, make my dough, and then we're going to move on to the last step, which will be frying it up. All right, this is what I consider a good dough. It'll kind of hold together. It'll get a little more gloopy as it goes along because you start pulling out more and more of the stuff. But you notice it's kind of like a muffin dough. It's kind of like that's about the best description I can give. Like a muffin dough.